Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? Right now, I am trying to keep my shit together. It is 118, 111, Cavs up on the Raptors. 5:25 left in the fourth, man. Guys, just to leave y'all with this stat. Um, James Harden, through 4.5 playoff games, has 29 assists and 29 turnovers. So we definitely got playoff James Harden. Got guys, I'm just hey, look, the series is tied 2-2. It's game 5 right now. We are up, right? I'm just saying, guys. I'm just, it's the playoffs, guys. Anton's in the building. How you doing, bro? It's good to see you. Um Guys, we got a lot to get into, man. We're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, the future, how it's already affecting us. It's going to be really kind of a chill pod today, man. Chill conversation, you know what I mean? Not too heavy, but it is something that affects our society, you know what I mean? But real quick, I want to start off by saying Pluto will always be Planet 9. I don't care anybody has to say. He is my favorite, but I don't care what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say. Doctor, Pluto will always be Planet 9. And so whatever planet we happen to find out there will be Planet X. And Planet X is a real cool ass nickname, bro. You Planet X, you number 10. Yo, that shit's dope. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm sorry, guys. Pluto will always be Planet 9. Thank you for agreeing with me, Anton. I'm glad we on the same page with that. Um, Guys, we are now 8 weeks into what is supposedly not a war, but an excursion. Yeah, so we're 8 weeks into what was supposed to be 4 or 5 weeks. Current stalemate right now. There is some sense of a ceasefire, even though all sides have completely violated. By the way, there was a Russian super yacht. Hey, look, guys, Russians really know how to play the villainy well, because like when you're like the supposed baddies or whatever, that's exactly how your yacht is supposed to look. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna pull that up, guys. Like Russian super yacht. I can't believe I didn't pull that up, man. This shit looks crazy. Look at that, guys. Is that a yacht or a battle station? Right? This shit looks like it could launch a nuke. Yo, this thing's got a helipad. It's got obviously like the jet skis stored underneath. And more importantly, this is a Russian billionaire allied with the Iranians. And according to our American blockade, we should have fired up on them for exiting, and we didn't. I'm glad we didn't, though. That's a pretty nice yacht. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that in future movies, especially when the villains are wealthy billionaires, like like we got in real life. But yeah, guys, I wanted to show you that real quick. That's the kind of crap we got going on in a supposed blockade of the blockade. Uh the Supreme Court, guys, this just happened. I didn't know if I was gonna comment in it or not. Shout out Cody, yo, was good, bro. Lean forward, Tyrus. I think I saw. Hey, bro. Yo, that's a good one, dog. I like that. Cody, tis but a Sunday vessel, right? Like, how many you think he got? You think he got the full 7-day fleet, Cody, or think you maybe 5 or 6 and he's still waiting for the other one? You know what I mean? Anton, Russian oligarchs have too much time and money to do whatever and go whatever. Yeah, man, especially when you look at the fact that they also, just like our corporations, steal a shit ton of money from their civilians. And yep, all that money off the backs of screwing over other people. You know what I mean? Oh, but yeah, so recently, guys, the Supreme Court just ruled 6-3 on Louisiana's redistricting attempt, or not redistricting attempt, but redistricting map, saying it was basically too racist toward non-blacks. And so let me pull up this ruling. Again, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. But I want to, as y'all know, man, I'd rather give y'all correct information than just windmill up here. And because this is actually interesting, man, because I actually want to see what the population of Black Americans are in Louisiana. Get firm ideas on that. You know what I mean? So let's see. Black pop. All right, guys. So here, I'm going to pull it up. We're going to look at it together. All right, here we go. The Supreme Court on Wednesday, in the case of Louisiana versus Callis, struck down the Louisiana congressional map that group of voters who described themselves as non-African American had challenged as the product of unconstitutional racial gerrymandering. By a vote of 6-3, the justices left in place a ruling by federal court that barred the state from using the map, which had created a second majority black district in future elections. Although Wednesday's ruling did not strike down a key provision of the Federal Voting Rights Act, as Louisiana and the challengers had asked the court to do, Justice Alina Kanga suggested in her dissent, which was joined by Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson, the majority opinion by Justice Samuel Alito had rendered the provision all but a dead letter. So and I just really wanted to look up real quick. I thought it was a little bit more than that. You know, Louisiana's black demographics only 33% tops. Yeah, tops. 33%. You got obviously New Orleans and Shreveport and Baton Rouge, which are, and I want to be clear, slightly majority black cities, but those are just 3. The state as a whole, only 33%. Look, I'm not from Louisiana. I just thought that was interesting. I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there for you guys. But let's go ahead, kind of get into the main topic today. Let's see. Can we? Yeah, we're gonna get into the main topic, which is the AI thing and the 50%. Start with this.
In 2025, the world's largest companies reportedly spent around $400 billion on capital expenditures to support the development of artificial intelligence. Adjusted for inflation, that would be 9 Manhattan projects or 2 Apollo programs, all within the space of just 1 year, and just on the infrastructure alone. Put another way, last year, more money was set aside for constructing and fitting out data centers than was spent on building single-family residential homes over the same time. And this number doesn't even include non-public companies like Anthropic or OpenAI, which are harder to get reliable financial data on. This number also doesn't include any of the other costs outside of just building and fitting out the facilities themselves, like staffing, energy, security, and strategic acquisitions like podcasts. These numbers are also only for 2025, and of course, recent announcements suggest.
Yeah, guys. So AI, it's here to stay. All right. Uh, and all we can really do is just adapt and evolve. And I was reading this article in the Atlantic about a billionaire retreat. I think Jeff Bezos was leading it. There's a bunch of richest people on the planet all in one place, as they normally like to do. Uh, what stood out to me about the description of the retreat, it wasn't the money, it wasn't the luxury, but the article, the journalist was definitely mentioning the mindset, the mindset of these people. And because the author had said something that stuck with me at that level of wealth, everything is free and nothing matters, right? So there are no real consequences anymore. There's no real risk, no real pressure, there's no real accountability. Everything they do in public is for show. And when you really sit with that, it explains a lot about what we're seeing right now with AI. Because we already saw throughout history how the elite used the newest technology to their benefit at the expense of the majority. Does the invention of the cotton gin ring any bells? Again, some would argue that slavery was maybe starting to go the way of, hey, it's outliving its usefulness. And then the invention of that technology, it didn't make slavery in decline, it made it worse. Right? The demand for slavery, the demand for more labor production went up. So let's be upfront about what we're dealing with here, guys. The AI data centers that's being built all around this country are not for our benefit. They're to our detriment. This technology, like so many before it, was marketed by the elites as something that would make labor and everyday life easier for humanity. Instead, it's caused more stress, increased workloads, and major labor disruption for our people. Instead of shorter hours, employees are working longer hours for stagnant wages and an ever increasing cost of living. The most powerful technology in our history has already made our country specifically worse. And right now, all we can do is be mad. And let's be clear, there are some good things, right? It's not to say that AI hasn't come with its perks. I mean, for God's sakes, it's helping individual content creators produce faster. It's giving small content creators, small programmers, the ability to design and collaborate with other content creators more effectively. It literally produces our thumbnails, right? AI has been used for a lot of my questions about science and how things work. I built my own local AI model using ChatGPT, and I really can say that for me as an individual, it has been a net positive. I've learned a lot, and I've got to experience new rabbit holes because of AI. It's doing phenomenal work in archaeology, reading old transcripts, helping with translations. In fields like history, anthropology, and other sciences, it's doing amazing work that knowledge wise can and should benefit humanity and society at large. So, yeah, at the individual level, AI is the first time a person can say, yo, I got a co pilot now. You can finally take ideas you used to need a whole team for and actually start building. That's not just good, guys. That is great. If you already have the ability to be a self starter. Let me repeat that. If you already have the ability to be a self starter. If you have a problem with that and all you've done is reacted your entire life, That's when things start getting bad. And so let's go over some of the bad aspects. Everybody hates hospital visits. Feels like none of the staff actually has time to treat you and want you to be seen, and you want to be seen by somebody. These nurses are juggling 6 to 7 patients all at once with little to no support, and a doctor that's either working remote or has to be available at 2 different facilities during the week. AI can help with that, right? Well, AI is really being implemented in all the worst ways in healthcare. Now, I want to be clear, healthcare AI has absolutely helped lower wait times in some cases. It's making remote access easier for both healthcare professionals and patients, and it's done wonders for maintaining medical documentation. Sounds great until you realize it's actually how it's actually being used by the executives. Executives are leveraging this to give patients less hands-on care while increasing the workload on doctors and nurses inside these facilities. Combine that with moves like removing nursing from the list of professional degrees, and it becomes clear that this was never really about patient satisfaction or improving the quality of care. It's about cutting expenses. And let's be honest, corporations are not trying to pay their employees properly unless they're forced to. The staffing shortages we're seeing across America, that is not some accident, that is by design. These executives are not adopting AI unless it cuts labor costs. That's the reality. And it's not just healthcare, but every industry is affected by this. Another bad aspect is what we're seeing in the job market, specifically white collar layoffs. Call centers, entry level positions, those sort of jobs, they're actively being replaced by AI agents and assistants. And I get it. People say, well, yo, that's the point, efficiency, right? But think about it. You as a worker, you got to get the experience from somewhere. You can do all the education and self-teaching and self-help books that you want, but if nobody hires you, then what are you really supposed to do? So there's got to be an entry level market. There has to exist an entry level market and the ability to climb up some level of a corporate ladder, or we are going to see exactly what we're seeing now: labor cuts, expectations, and more pressure on employees, or higher expectations and more pressure on employees. Corporations are not using AI to make work easier. They're using it to squeeze as much production as possible out of their employees without increasing wages. You've got companies replacing entire customer service departments with AI systems, then turning around and telling the remaining employees to handle even more volume. And the idea of climbing the corporate ladder, again, guys, that is going to weigh the American dream if it hasn't already. So understand this: AI isn't just replacing jobs, guys, it's replacing the pathway to better jobs. It's not just eliminating the entry level jobs. It's eliminating the intermediary and sometimes higher skill labor. And then we got to talk about the ugliness of AI. For God's sakes, guys, all the AI slop out there, it's disgusting. It was annoying then, it became pathetic, and now it's just disgusting. You got deep fakes. You got people using this tech for some real sick, twisted shit. Revenge porn is getting worse. And yeah, I get it. It's hard to police what individuals do with the tech until it hits the public. But that doesn't change the fact that that's the real ugly side of this technology that we currently have zero control over. And it's creating real victims. On top of that, AI is putting a massive strain on our energy grid. These data centers consume an insane amount of power, and they're changing communities all over the country. So I wanted to play this video. This is specifically, guys, like here in Ohio, we really gotta a big problem with our data centers because they're only getting worse. I want y'all guys to check this out.
Well, data centers are the invisible backbone, apparently, of the digital lives, powering everything from your smartphone to AI.
But massive facilities are multiplying across Ohio, raising questions about who's paying the price.
Every time you check your email, stream a video, or ask Alexa a question, the answer comes from here. Data centers are massive warehouses filled with computer servers that store and process our digital lives, and they're coming to Ohio in record numbers. The state now ranks 5th in the nation for data center development. In the Cincinnati area alone, several data centers are already operating, with more proposed.
The average household has 21 connected devices. So you have your laptops and your phones, but we have watches, we have smart thermostats, we have Ring doorbells. All of that requires digital infrastructure.
But there's a catch. These facilities consume staggering amounts of electricity.
Data centers use just an unimaginable amount of electricity for their size.
Yeah, guys. These data centers are creating a real big problem. Here in Ohio, we're right in the middle of it. Here in Central Ohio specifically, that was more on the Cincinnati area, but here in Central Ohio, like close to Columbus, the capital, there's this massive data center, this project that's being currently built right now. It's going to be the biggest one in North America, the continent, guys, not just the country, and not just the American country, but the entire fucking continent. And it's sponsored by Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, right? It's guys, it's bad. You know what I mean? Like my wife and I was and I'm not sure if I wanted to say this, but my wife and I had a few weeks ago went to sign petitions, you know, to put our name on making sure we get access or we get put on the ballot here in Ohio about like trying to restrict these data centers. And I'm glad it got put on there. I believe it got put on there. But what's crazy is that our governor, who's getting out right now, guys, Mike DeWine, he's out. He's this is last year in office. Literally said he don't think we should have say so about those sort of things. The people of the Buckeyes, we shouldn't have say so about. That's what our elected officials think about our voice. You guys understand? Like that's the kind of crap we're dealing with, where you got these corporations doing all this nonsense to us, and then the government is literally enabling it. You know, it's a big problem. We already have 100 data centers here in Ohio, guys. 100. We already have 100, and we got another 70 that's about to be put up by 2030. All right, by 2030, we about to have another 70 put up. And for what? Like, what are these things being freaking used for? Right? They use, guys, these facilities use a gigawatt of power per facility. I want y'all to understand something. A gigawatt of power, that's enough to power a community of 90,000. That's how much one facility is going to be using up. And what are these facilities being used for, guys? Data storage, cloud computing, AI models, recommendation systems, the same AI slot we just talked about, right? And let's talk about this cycle for a second, because this is where it gets insane. We pay for the phone. We pay for the internet. We pay for the apps. We pay for the streaming services. We pay for the games. And while we're paying to use all of it, these companies are also collecting our data. They're collecting what we watch, what we click, what we learn, what we buy, where we go, what we pause on, what we skip, what we like, what we argue about, and what keeps us staring at the screen. Then they turn the data into targeted ads, a recommendation system, engagement algorithms, and AI models. Then they sell access to those systems back to us. So think about how many times they get paid. They get paid when we buy the device. They get paid when we pay for the service. They get paid when advertisers pay to target us. They get paid when our data improves their algorithms. They get paid when businesses use those AI systems. And they get paid again when the AI generated content gets shoved back into our faces, sometimes behind paywalls. That is the cycle, working as intended. We are paying to be monitored, paying to be analyzed, paying to train the machine, and then paying again to consume what the machine spits back at us. And while that's happening, these companies are using our local land, our local grid, our local water, and our local communities to run infrastructure behind it. We are paying for it with money, with data, with energy, with privacy, and eventually with our quality of life. And ask yourself, how does that benefit us? Because right now it doesn't. It just doesn't. And when the AI bubble pops, as all these little movements do, what's going to happen to all these data centers when they're not cost effective anymore? Who's going to be left holding the bag? That's right. The company, the communities, the local people that live there, who, unlike the corporations who could just pick up and move whenever they want, you can't. You're going to be there whether that data center gets put up or not. But if they end up filing bankruptcy in that data center, well, now it's your problem. And that's how it is, right? That's really, unfortunately, that's the future. That's the future. The only way, guys, I'm gonna open it up to the panel. I think I gotta drop the link. Hold on, guys. I gotta drop the link. I don't think I did that. My bad. I do not know where the link is at. Oh, there it is. All right. Yeah, so y'all could come up, chop it up, but I did want to leave you guys with, right? Not all is lost. Obviously, again, like I said, there's some good things, there's some bad things, right? One of the ways I want people to try to use AI as a way to clean up your speech, emails, presentations, video content. So many different professions require authentic feedback in writing as part of the daily grind. You shouldn't be using AI to write your essays or monologues. Its purpose should be meant for coherency, fact checking, and cleanup. Hell, one of the best ways to use AI is to use the speech dictation in a notepad or whatever you use, copy your rambling into whatever AI model of your choice, and tell it to fact check you and clean your rants up so you can read it without sounding like a moron. That is literally your words, your structure, your cadence, your tone, your ideas, your work. The AI was your editor and publicist, a co-pilot. Guys, I did exactly those steps with the cycle of monetization by our corporate overlords I just previously mentioned. Speech dictation on Notepad, told G to fact check me and only clean up my comments if what I stated was accurate. Here's what you don't do. You do not ask AI to write your content for you. Then come up here on social media and read off words that you clearly just read for the first time. People can tell it sounds hollow, it sounds false, and it's the fastest way to lose credibility. Because if all you're doing is reading what AI wrote, then you're not creating anything. And guys, that's how you get replaced. So please everyone, you know what I mean? Like, be conscious of this. I just wanted to talk about this, man. Just kind of keep it light, you know what I mean? There's a lot of chaos going on. We can all like really we could really see the effects of AI and what it's doing right now. You know what I mean? But we got to understand, like too, what was that? Anton, or hold up, 100 watt is it my audio? Is he muted? Am I muted? You guys can hear me, right? Hope so. Yeah, Cody's talking about the giant bot farm. Yeah, man. And you know what's crazy too, Cody? As much as we can accurately say, oh, deep state, foreign state ops, it's also random individuals overseas just trolling hard and making bread, bro. That's what's crazy. We can't even do nothing about them. You know what I mean? Anton, shocking that they won't invest into solar power. Bro, I keep bringing that up. And what's crazy is that some states are trying to force the issue, and some states really are just letting them tap into into existing infrastructure. There's this problem, I think, in Arizona, Anton, where they're building these data centers, right? It takes like maybe a year or something like that to put them up. But in order to offset their energy production properly, they got to upgrade the nuclear facility. And that's going to take about 7 years to do. And so, of course, they don't want to do it. But, upgrading the nuclear facility will also benefit the entire community that relies on that. But, well, fuck them. You know what I mean? There's nobody cares about them. But yeah, man, think about all the solar farm. Remember, we had the solar, the green energy infrastructure investment going, but then Trump administration rolled that back. He got rid of even the green solar the tax credit for people with like EVs or getting like solar panels on their roof and everything. It's like, what's crazy is we have the technology to offset our energy needs. Our elite just don't feel like doing it. Nobody can say the technology don't exist or it's not effective. You just don't feel like doing it. That's all anybody can say about it, man. You know what I mean? Cody was just wait till you find out how much of the news you have seen on TV was 100% fake or AI. I mean, they didn't really need AI to do that, right? Like, I mean, according to everybody, TV been fake. So there's nothing new there. Link says, nah, you good. Okay, yeah, just making sure. But appreciate it. Yeah, making sure y'all can hear me loud and clear. Yeah, guys. And so it's crazy. Like, every time I think about the AI issue, guys, I cannot help but think about how advanced technology is literally used to just squeeze out more production. That's all, more production out of everybody. Like, every single time people swear it's going to make life easier for humanity. Oh, we're going to be chilling. And in reality, it just makes people work harder. Right? It's forcing people to work harder. Because guess what, guys? Like I keep telling y'all every time we talk about this issue, them corporations, them executives, they like, man, no, AI don't need a smoke break. AI don't need healthcare. AI ain't got to worry about running late because of traffic. And what are you supposed to do when that's your competition? Right? Cody, you say they keep the reason they import immigrant workers, that's for a lot of the labor intensive jobs, like the field jobs and everything like that. now they even scaling back the H-1Bs, bro, because again, Cody, we just saw these coders. A lot of them coded themselves out of a job, bro. Like did you see that Oracle company laid off like 30K people just overnight? You know what I mean? A lot of them guys, yeah, man. Again, but that's the thing. Like for too long, we've been told that the corporation know what's best. Trickle down economics, right, guys? Reaganomics. Well, this is the results of that, guys, or this is one of the results of that mindset, right? We've been relying on. We really thought that giving corporations tax cuts and hoping they were going to do the right thing by it. Yeah, that was going to work. Yeah, the wealthy people who are notoriously stingy for not spending money. Yeah, they're going to somehow want to spend more money because of tax cuts. It's almost like as if you enable hoarders, they're going to hoard more. Nah, that's not how it works, guys. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? And we're seeing it now, guys, because one of the problems, Cody, the Chinese over there, they're building a middle class, or they have been building a middle class too. And now in some cases, their labor's becoming too expensive. And so you see what these corporations do. We either got to find a cheaper company to go, or you know what? Robots. And again, we see the implementation, guys. They don't even care if this thing is effective. They don't even care if it's working properly, just as long as it's clearing, it's lowering their expenses, and it's a tax write-off, guys. That's exactly what they're going to do. Cody, at some point, they will make an avenue for people to get money. At some point, the oil companies knew that we didn't have the facilities necessary to process our own crude oil. And over the 30 years, do you know what they have done to update our infrastructure in order to do that, Cody? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. These tech bros have been known that eventually there's going to be, you gotta come up with some sort of UBI. You know, Andrew Yang talked about that way back in 2020, right? I believe. Or 2016, one of them years. And so we've been known this was a problem. And Cody, you know what our tech bros that are in control of said infrastructure are doing about that? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Okay? You want to know why? Because it doesn't create a profit for them. Cody, one or two clowns is talking about UBI. And that's freaking, yo, Anton, how you doing, man?
Good.
That's Elon, who, by the way, is leading the AI revolution that's screwing everybody over. Right? You're like, yeah, the guy who don't even want to live on this planet, Cody, is talking about UBI. He's really helping out right now. Peter Thiel, who wants to be a freaking transhuman robot or whatever the hell, and doesn't really know if he wants society to exist in the future. Yeah, he really wants UBI, Cody. Jeff Bezos, so wealthy, he's shut down an entire Italian city just to get married and is literally firing people using chatbots. Yeah, he really is in a rush to get UBI up. Mark Zuckerberg already looks like an android. He's already there. like, come on, guys. Like, we got to stop putting our faith and hope into these non-human entities who routinely show us, Anton, that if they could bring back indentured servitude and not pay us, they absolutely will.
Facts.
If they could legally get that off, they will absolutely do it.
I can believe that. The problem with a lot of this technology that people don't realize and they're not paying attention is those who are in charge of this stuff control the narrative in every single way. Now, we've all seen movies and read books about this type of nonsense. Equilibrium, 1984, Fahrenheit 451. We've all seen or read books about this type of stuff. Those who control the information could do whatever they want with it. Also, Minority Report. That was another example, because that was an example of how is it that people can look at the same thing and an advertisement will be tailored for that individual. Instead of just getting their attention, it would actually say the person's name and try to convince him or her, this is what makes our product great. You should really look into it.
I agree with you, Anton. You know what movie, or I know we're being, even though these are, fictional movies, sometimes we draw inspiration in real life. You know what movie people don't really talk about when it comes to this AI stuff? Judge Dredd. Boy, that Authority bootlicking got us right now all over that.
Are we talking about the Carl Urban or the Sylvester Stallone version?
I'm gonna go with Carl Urban.
Okay,
there's newer, more people probably watched or up on that one. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right. I had to ask.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to respect the OG with Sylvester Stallone, though,
and Armand Asante too.
Yeah,
you definitely have to.
I didn't break the law. I am the law. Love that, man. Yeah, but that's the kind of crap we going on. I mean, you look at, started with the Patriot Act, right? Mass surveillance, NSA, all this other nonsense, and you know what I mean. Let you go real quick, but next Vote 53 sub. This is what I call a chill stream. GG's, yeah, man, we chilling up here, bro. Yeah, Anton, what do you think? What other works of media can we compare this to?
Wow. I'm thinking right about now. You ever saw the updated version of the movie Fahrenheit 451 with Michael B. Jordan and Michael Shannon?
No, not yet.
You need to check that one out. You really need to check that one out. And it's just so wild how a system was able to manipulate the basic areas of history and manipulate it to a way where no one really knew the original aspect of certain things in American history. Like, I'm going to say one part, and I hope I don't give away too much, but it's not going to take away from the movie, but you'll see what I mean. They had a system set up to basically tell people that Benjamin Franklin was the first firefighter.
I'm pretty sure we've had firefighters since we've had fire. So.
But what I mean by that, sweetheart, is Benjamin Franklin helped establish the first public library. But in the movie, they made him look like he was they changed it to where he became the first firefighter to destroy books. And that person you heard, that woman you heard in the background was my wife.
Nice to meet you, Mrs. Anton.
Sorry.
I was thinking, man, like, I don't know if you've noticed, audience chat, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's been this increase in articles of scientists speaking about simulation theory. And that it seems like the more we go down the technology path, the more it seems like we are in a simulation. And I don't know, man.
Is it in simulation or indoctrination?
No, like a legit simulation. Like, think about all the work that they're doing, things like with VR and everything like that. And so let me get a clear definition real quick. Simulation theory proposes that reality, including humanity and the universe, is an artificial computer simulation run by advanced beings, often compared to highly advanced video games. Popularized by philosopher Nick Bostrom, the hypothesis suggests that if civilizations can create realistic simulations, they would create many, making it statistically probable that we live in one.
Ooh, that's heavy.
And yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of this, and I just have to like wonder, like, all the AI that's training the data, what's the end game, Anton? Right? Because the elites can't, I don't want to say can't, because they certainly could, but they're not just doing this for shits and giggles.
No.
Right? As my thing is that they kind of come off, Anton, as, well, they're definitely out of touch, but they come off as they don't really care one way or the other about broader society. And so sometimes my biggest fear with this is that the corporations are letting AI just kind of run wild, and that's what's going to be our demise.
I think what it is, they want to maintain a hierarchy. When you have individuals who come from the two common income and that's all they know, they're going to make sure that they're going to do whatever it takes to stay up there because they don't know anything else. And when you have individuals that come after them in those same families who were born and raised in this type of lifestyle, and that's all they know and nothing else, they're going to do their damnedest to make sure that they stay up there because they feel like it's their birthright.
Mm-hmm.
And remember what I've always said before, and I probably mentioned it here on your show, and I probably mentioned it on other shows, whether it was, here on Being News channel or a couple other channels. The way things are going, it feels like they're developing something that you never thought you would ever see here in the United States, or probably would see in the United States, but it'll be too late for people to realize it. A permanent underclass.
Mm.
And when you've seen old movies like Metropolis from the 1930s, you see other movies that you have to have this large contingent of the society doing everything possible to maintain things for that small percentage, that status quo. Another example, and maybe my wife would agree with me or not, the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a fantasy.
I understand it's a fantasy, but it feels like they're trying to make something like that as a reality. That's
Do we
what it
do we
is.
not remember the failed reality TV show the administration tried to put up in 2025, led by Kristi Noem? It was going to be like some Survivor type, like political series. Like, it was legit trying to do that crap. You know what I mean? Let's not forget, guys. As dystopian of the universe as we're talking about, some of these universes make more sense than our current reality because we have a UFC event being held in the White House this summer for our 250th birthday. You couldn't have put that in a Black Mirror episode. You know what I mean? Cody, You ever heard of the game Ark Survival? Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know what the premise is. Yeah, Anton, like these we're already getting, I mean, think about it. We've already clearly as a people have shown that we're more than happy to submit to authority as a collective. Like I mentioned, all these policies like the Patriot Act, you know, we've been knowing that our own phone's been spying on us and listening to us and doing our algorithm. And you know what we've done about it, Anton? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And then it led to the acknowledgement of the no such agency.
Yeah.
And I think any of us who was in the service or who worked in the intelligence industry, we all heard the stories about the no such agency. Oh, that building there, that's NSA. That's no such agency. There's nothing there. Then all of a sudden, you had to acknowledge their existence. And I think the reason why people have gotten to this way is because of one person and one person alone. You may not think that's possible, but I think it is possible because of this one person, Edward Snowden. When he put certain things out there, he opened up a Pandora's box.
Not necessarily.
Now, if he would have just put it out there and stayed anonymous, yo, that was ballsy. Good luck trying to figure out who this person is, whoever he or she is. But the fact that he felt like he had to put his name on it, he put himself on a list that he's never going to come off. And at the same time, it affected the well-being of members of his family.
Yeah, and it sucks because our grand reaction to Edward Snowden, other than a little bit of outrage along with Wikipedia, was we just let that shit happen. That's why I don't actually blame Edward Snowden. I get your perspective, Anton. If we were to put it on one person, I have to put it on an elected leader. And I got to put it on Republican Jesus himself, Ronald Reagan. It's like Ronald Reagan is like the world's version of the British. You could really just place all the blame on the British, right? The British Empire sponsors 29 different Independence Days around the world. All right, that's how bad they were at that shit. And you look at all the crap when it comes to trickle-down economics, when it comes to this bow of authority under this guise of freedom and patriotism and Bible and flag, like it all stems
in America.
Yeah,
I was a kid at that time in the 80s, man. It was not fun. It was not pretty. It was not easy.
Hey, the music was amazing, though.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes. The birth of MTV and a lot of other things. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was the last decade before the birth of the internet.
Yeah.
And it was definitely the last decade that helped lay the foundation to what we later now know as social media. Believe me, it was a great time because it was just that simple and easy. Looking at shows like Stranger Things, and when they did stuff in the 80s, when I see a lot of these TV shows and movies that take place in the 80s, I'm not looking at a history book. I'm reliving my childhood.
Yeah. Yeah, Anton, I look at the Reagan years, and sure, short term, it stimulated the economy, right? Then I go and look. You know, this mofo had to raise taxes back 9 times because he blew a hole in the deficit that freaking bad.
Mm-hmm.
Something like 9 times, bro. A lot of the mental health facilities was closing under his watch, which, by the way, he started when he was governor of California and brought that crap to the federal level once president. Right. And so this is we got a lot of side discussions here. But Anton, real quick side note, that's one of the problems our healthcare professionals, the people working in hospitals, are dealing with now. They're dealing with a whole bunch of people who should be in mental health facilities, but now you're just throwing everybody in there. You got a bunch of people with mental health problems being thrown in with general pop with real freaking criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because it's not that we don't have the money to invest in these things, it's that we don't want to.
We could use that money somewhere else. Really.
It's always somewhere else we could use that money, right?
Yeah. One of the big things I remember that was really ugly about the 80s when Reagan was in power was the AIDS epidemic. And the thing I remember was every time a journalist would ask him a question about it, he never acknowledged it. He refused to answer it. And it was like, next question. That was his attitude. Plain and simple. And I remember a strange day like it was yesterday.
And you see them now, bro. You see these politicians, the Reaganites now, you know, the Tea Party, all that crap now. They don't answer questions. You know what I mean? They just dodge that crap. And but yeah, I mean, overall, both the government as a whole, both these parties have been freaking complicit in our decline. It just sucks, man, because we've had the money to at least change it up, right? But instead, because of that mentality, right, we have tried to privatize critical aspects of our infrastructure. And so since the 80s, man, it started under the 70s, under Nixon, really, but at least since the 80s, when it really accelerated, we have continuously rewarded the corporations who have been outsourcing our jobs overseas with lower tax cuts and deregulation. And now you see America as a collective pissed off about the corporations using the power we fucking gave them.
Exactly. Perfect example of that aspect of the 80s. Back then, you can get a job in some type of you could get a job in some different aspect. You could work in a steel mill, you could work in an assembly plant, you could work in any of these other positions, have a job, have a steady paycheck for X number of years, and you're okay. You know what the 80s started? The yuppies. Put these false narrative in the heads of some of these kids who graduated at college in that time of the 80s, and they came out with this attitude thinking when they graduate college, they're supposed to automatically have a six-figure income, a corner office, a red BMW, a house in the suburbs with a white picket fence, and they're supposed to be either the next Alex P. Keaton or Gordon Gekko. They had that sense of they had that mindset, that false sense of entitlement, thinking that's what's supposed to happen, not realizing you're supposed to put the time in and work your way up. One movie that's a perfect example was that Wall Street. Now, while it didn't put Michael Douglas on the map as the character Gordon Gekko, people forgot two other individuals who were in that movie. And it showed an example of the issues that went on in the 80s. Martin Sheen, who was a manufacturer, and Charlie Sheen as his son, who went to college and wanted to work in an office making money, trying to convince his dad, this is the way to do it now. This is the future. And a lot of kids and a lot of people who went to college at that time, especially in the mid to late 80s, that was the attitude and mindset they took.
And this is the problem, bro. Here in America, we have such a ridiculously stupid problem with the inability to separate entertainment from real life. We really had people aspiring for all the wrong shit. And an example of that is now we have people, because I'm going to be honest, bro, I've brought up the argument a few times about birth rates, right?
Mhm.
But the reality is that corporate America brings up birth rates because they just want more bodies into the machine, right? That's all they care about.
They want more people paying into the system.
Because our system is currently designed that we can never just manage and stay flat. We must always go up and accelerate, or the entire system fails. Our system is designed to never just maintain, right? That's how a fucking parasite operates, Anton.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how animals of the animal kingdom, like real flesh and blood. That's not how we're supposed to operate.
Exactly.
We are literally designed to consume until there's nothing else to consume. And that's what really like kind of throws me off sometimes. As much as I love like the space talk and stuff like that, it really throws me off when our elites are talking about space, because all I know they're gonna do is they just want another planet to mine and fuck up until they can move to the next one.
Uh-huh. The funny thing people forget, and this is why I love history. Back in the 60s, I think when Kennedy made this did his inauguration speech, he was talking about the space race. He was talking about exploration for the betterment of society. Now, all this stuff you're seeing is only for the betterment of a particular status, a particular segment of the population. And if you're not part of it, oh well. That's the best way I can describe it right there.
That's why I said earlier, Anton, all we could do is be mad, because the people in charge of our society know all of these things, all of these issues, and they've been knowing it for a while, and they have shown no interest in doing anything about it.
Because it hurts them. There's their bottom line.
It hurts their bottom line. And by the way, other than Luigi Malone or whatever his name was, look how quick they replaced the CEO.
Luigi Mangio.
Mangio, yeah. Like, look how quickly they replaced homeboy, the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? By the way, nobody knows the CEO's name, the new CEO's name, because nobody knew the one previous.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's because overall, bro, we really just, they know they can do whatever we want, and you're gonna have people, again, I get it, but people are gonna go, man, look, we can say F the system, but my paycheck relies on the system. Anton, the people, the corporations that are doing this crap, again, look how many people they hire. How many companies do you know use Microsoft? Apple, Linux, well, Linux not really, but you get what I mean, the big ones, Google, the Microsoft, everybody's on Excel, and all of that shit has been used to collect our data. And guess what? If you don't have those skill sets, you can't even get a job as a fucking secretary.
Exactly.
So you have to use the shit, right? It's not like you have a choice. Well, just don't use AI. Okay, well, it's like saying, hey, don't eat today.
Good luck. That's hard.
Right?
Because
don't use the tech bros shit. Well, I have to. You know what I mean?
It's hard to say don't depend on a smartphone and a lot of stuff. And let's be honest, slowly but surely they're gonna be doing away with cash, and you're gonna have to use something that's NFC, and you're gonna have to use some type of NFC technology. And the two items that we all know that have that is our phones and now our watches.
Yeah.
Unless you want a chip under your skin. But then oh no, that's control. But if you saw the movie Demolition Man, how do you think they did things in that society of San Angeles in 2032? Everyone there had a chip under their skin. That was the only way they could access just about anything and everything they needed and wanted.
Anton, I got a question because I don't know if we're going to be on the same page as the page on this. But when it came to currency, right? And so let's talk about it from a current perspective.
Okay.
I am not sure I'm all that worried about the currency itself. I am worried about absolutely like inflation and currency manipulation, things like that. I want to be clear. But we've always changed value. For example, right? Like the US dollar, maybe it will evolve into social credits and cryptocurrency and those things. I care about the currency translating correctly. You get what I mean? Its value equal to what we're,
No, that's totally understandable.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
No, I totally understand that. And the reason why you're hearing so much being pushed for crypto is because it's loosely regulated.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that most people don't realize. The only current crypto that people know about is Bitcoin. There's Ethereum, there's Dogecoin, and even 47 himself has his own cryptocurrency. And it's making him a significant profit. How ironic that you are an elected official in one of the most important positions in this country, and you're still finding a way to cash it in.
That's what I mentioned, like this technology and the amount of deregulation we have allowed from these guys. Anton, consequences do not exist for them. That is the reality. Like, I understand, but it's like I don't know if I truly understand, and I know the collective doesn't. Like, there's this. I really hope this puts the idea away that no man is above the law. They absolutely fucking are.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely people above the law.
Because you know what they've done? They expect people like you, people like me, and a significant segment of the population to abide by the rules. And if we do anything wrong, we should be held accountable. But that's the same segment that'll say, oh, they don't apply to me, they apply to you. And we'll look for any other nonsense to say, I'm the exception. Because they've never been held accountable. And when you don't hold someone accountable at, say, 5 years old, what the hell makes you think you can hold them accountable at 75?
Yep.
That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know how you hurt individuals like that? You have to hurt them the worst way possible. In the one way possible. And that's in their pockets.
Yep. Dude, I love their reaction to Mom Donnie though. Like, I actually really like that, their reaction. They tears. Like that one billionaire. I don't know if you saw that commercial that Mandomini had did recently, where he was like, yo, we got so many empty ass cribs here in New York City that's been inflating rent prices, such as this $238 million penthouse that sits empty half the year. We gonna tax that shit. Yo, the billionaire threw a hissy fit of about what, his 7th, 8th crib?
Yeah.
Oh, you all out of touch bastard. F you, bro.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
Honestly, Therese, I'm not that far from the city. And you'd be surprised how many of those individuals that live in Central Park West and all those other neighborhoods and those really fancy brownstones also have a house in the Hamptons that sits vacant for at least a good 8 months out the year.
That's Anton. I agree with you. I bet I know you telling the truth. I mean, think about it, bro. When they do those dumbass announcements, like they moving their corporations out the state or somewhere, or you know what? I don't know if I could be in New York or wherever. And then you realize, oh, wait, that was just an excuse to buy a penthouse in Florida. They didn't actually sell their crib in New York.
Right.
They still got it.
Right.
They still got their house in the high ass taxed Hamptons.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They was just using that as go get another fucking crib. And people really sympathize with that. People really sympathize with, oh man, these wealthy people, man, they're gonna be moving out the state.
No, they're not.
God, how are we gonna recuperate all the taxes they avoid?
No, they're not. Because a good number of those people that try to move out of state, and they've grew up and always been part of New York high society, that's kind of hard to walk away from.
And they don't walk away from it.
Exactly.
Like you said, they don't walk away. They keep they've been threatening all the time. By the way, you see them, some of them already moving back to Cali. You know what I mean? Because oh shit, all of a sudden, hey, y'all missed that great weather and all the benefits that came with high taxed areas. I know it ain't the best. You know what I mean? It's got its problems. But yeah, guys, a lot of them people been moving, them rich people been moving right on back. Because the one thing about Texas and Florida is that it's still fucking Texas and Florida.
Exactly. Yeah, no state tax. That's the one good thing about those two places. But Florida still got to deal with hurricanes,
tornadoes,
and Texas got to deal with those tornadoes and everything else.
Big ass spiders, droughts. I'm gonna do it. Everything's got its pros and cons. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the thing about people don't realize, the majority of Florida is at sea level. Good luck trying to find a place that has a basement. That's the thing most people don't realize.
There's times where it will rain all day and just the streets themselves is just like lightly flooded.
Yep.
And oh my God, let's not talk about, or we I guess you can mention some of them high rises that ain't even up to code. Them owners ain't been maintaining them buildings like some of them been crumbling and collapsing and shit like that.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised the number of slumlords that owns buildings in New York. It don't matter what borough.
No.
You'd be surprised.
Yo, Peter, what's good, man?
Spartan, is that you? Is that you, Peter? Or is that somebody else? Okay. I mean,
but it's like, bro, I'm actually disappointed, Anton, because we really not gonna get no Skynet shit, bro. You understand that we're not gonna get no robot war or nothing like that. Like, the AI is literally just being used to do whatever the executives want.
Exactly.
It just like we not getting no. Damn, bro! Like I was looking forward to calling some androids, some clankers and shit like that. You know what I mean? But we're not even going to be able to do that, dog. Like,
so in other words, you think you waiting for Judgment Day to come, huh? Is that it?
We're not even, dog. We don't live in the timeline that's going to give us that. We live in the worst one, man. Yo, did BMU just leave again? What the hell?
He was in the audio. I don't know what happened.
Cody says, don't count out Skynet yet. Man. Man. I'm sorry, bro. Like,
I've heard about
Cody, you see what these clowns are using the AI for, bro? Like, there's never gonna be an AI that rises above their corporate overlord, bro. This is not gonna happen. This is not gonna happen, Anton.
Oh my god. Yeah. This I just think what it is that I think Cody King said it best and when it was in the chat, he said system is designed to sell out tomorrow for a better today. And that's the problem. They want that now. They don't even think about later.
Yeah.
You know, not realizing that, okay, you already have it now, but if you take care of it and you maintain it, you might get more, you might benefit for the better later. But when you have segment of population that want everything, it's still never going to be enough.
BMU, appreciate it. I didn't even notice the background one changed. Cody, that could turn the auto-targeting drones on at any time. Again, who is they? Bezos? Again, them shits, they're not gonna do it themselves. Right? If they talk again, if the AI system, AGI, decides to auto-target people with drones, it got the directive from some human.
I think the thing people forget, even though Skynet was operational, there was still a group known as the Greys. And those were the humans loyal to Skynet. Those were the humans that worked with and for Skynet just so they could stay alive and exist. So even though Skynet was self-aware, Skynet still needed someone to flip that switch.
And then it was embedded in the code that these were the people that they tolerate, if you will, keep up.
Mm-hmm.
The wealthy. That won't be us, Anton.
Unfortunately. But yet, when you look at, ironically, when you look at movies like, say, Escape from New York or Escape from LA, that's a perfect example on how to hit the reset button. And I remember some time back when we were, I think it was flipping tables, and we were all talking about, I think you were on the panel, me, Uncle Jeff, JT, and a couple at Lost, BMU, and a couple other people. And maybe if BMU's hearing me, you remember when I said this, the way things are going in this country, it's like, and I think Uncle Jeff used this analogy, it's like in the movie Rocky 3, how you saw Rocky slowly falling into the canvas. That's what's happening with things right now. And you have a segment of the population doing everything possible, whatever it takes, to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's why I said it's getting to the point, maybe it's time to hit that reset button. And the reason why the status quo don't want that reset button hit, because everything they gained, everything that they have, everything that they're willing to hold on to, they'll lose it. They'll lose all of it.
Yeah.
That 400 plus year head start goes right back to zero.
But unfortunately, Anton, they ain't got nothing to worry about, and they clearly operate like they got nothing to worry about, because that revolution can only come with a bunch of people who are willing to lose their Wi-Fi access for a few weeks and months. And we ain't got that population right now. And then on top of that, Anton, even though we know the corporations in charge and the people who run them, the infrastructure is so spread out that there's no one. And again, it's all ingrained in everything. So essentially, it's again by design. What are we going to do? Attack ourselves?
Yeah, it's like we just saw Captain America. Cut off one head, two more grows in its place.
Fucking Hydra.
A Hydra.
Yeah. Cody, we are getting ready, if not already, very close to the movie Asylum. I agree 100%, Cody. Again, guys, we already, like, again, we mentioned this earlier. Anton and I have been going through a list of movies, man. We already close to, if not already, in some of these timelines. And I'm going to say it again. Some of these movie timelines, again, I'd rather live in than what we got going on here in real life. I mean, bro, it doesn't get much worse than a sexual predator running the United States of America, starting a holy war in the Middle East. Pretty jacked up, you know what I mean?
Honestly,
it could be worse. I mean,
let's be honest. If people don't start getting it together, start realizing and paying attention to what's going on, let's be honest, I don't see a first contact happening here anytime soon.
You mean like extraterrestrial first contact? Oh, if there is, it's gonna be violent.
Come on now, let's be honest. Anyone who's watched Star Trek knows what I mean by first contact.
Bro,
ain't nobody
gonna let our parasitic asses explore the cosmos as we currently exist. Ain't no fucking way, bro.
But here's the thing. But what did the Vulcans do? They kept them in check for 90 years.
Oh.
In other words, you want to have an opportunity to do this? It's time to get this in order first.
Yeah, and we're nowhere close to that. Well, there's some regions of the world, some countries out there trying to unify, but we're as a collective, we're no close to that. Like Anton, let's be clear. Like, who if we had, let's say, an ambassador or a scout come through the first meetings, who are we going to send them to? The UN? You know how many countries would be pissed off if we tried to send Trump up first?
Oh.
Can you imagine? Like, come on, Doc. You know what I mean? Cody, we are but lap mice, bro. That's what, like, I've had this and again, it's just a theory. We all got theory and speculation, but Anton, I really think there are like extraterrestrial probes. I don't think we've ever encountered a physical mortal like alien. I absolutely believe we've encountered technology, like drone technology, because think about it, bro. That's the easiest way to get anything. Just based on how hard it is to travel space in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I really think a lot of that shit is really they watching us like we will watch National Geographic. Just seeing how they operate. Maybe we do as a species, as a civilization, emerge to the point where they're like, okay. But people need to understand any alien technology like that exists on this planet, that's operating on this planet, that means that species can wipe us out whenever the hell they please.
Mm-hmm.
Our Voyager 1 and 2 a few years ago just finally reached the very border of interstellar space. And those were launched in what, the 70s, 80s, Anton?
In the 70s, I think. Yeah, a lot has changed in the last 50 years, too. A whole lot has changed in the last 50 years.
You know what hasn't changed? Our ability to traverse space.
Mm-hmm.
Any efficient, you would think we would have had a probe chase down one of the Voyagers by now.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, hell, Anton, we don't actually know how many planets are in our solar system yet.
Ironically, you would have figured after everything that went on with NASA back in the 60s and 70s, that would have sped up everything that, led to the space shuttle program. Yes. And the only two tragedies we all know when it came to the space shuttles were Challenger in 86, which hard to believe has been 40 years, and Columbia in 2003. And eventually they stopped the space shuttle program. I forgot what year that was. And we haven't done anything since until this most recent mission. But last I checked, that was NASA. Was that privatized or was that a combination of some private entity and NASA? The Artemis crew. Was that all NASA or was that NASA and the help with some private entity?
I think SpaceX had a hand in that.
How am I not surprised? See what I mean? Yeah. Private industry and the government at the same time. The
problem is, Anton, we needed private industry, and like you're implying already, we needed private industry to do some shit we did 60 years ago. Think about it, bro. We just did a flyby around the moon 60 years ago. And people need to stop this whole we didn't land on the moon. Guys, we've been to the moon. We've been to the moon 6 freaking times.
I put it like this.
In that period. It wasn't just, we didn't just go one time. We went 6 times over the course of those years. You know what I mean? So like again, if that was fake, the Russians and the Chinese would have been called us out our name already.
Exactly. Now, perfect
because
example.
Remember, I'll let you cook, Anton. Just remember, guys, Russia landed multiple probes, and they are the only reason we got photos of the surface of Venus. If the moon landing was fake, they would have called us out our shit already. Go ahead, Anton.
Now, perfect example. There's one pilot I knew some time back, sadly he passed on, went to Purdue University, and he told me this. He had Neil Armstrong as one of his professors. Now, this is a person who stepped foot on the moon. This is someone who was on the lunar surface. This person had every right to be the most arrogant person because he could say the one thing the majority of the people on this planet cannot say. I got a chance to walk on the moon. And from what he told me, he was the most humbling, most pleasant individual, and the most awesome professors he's ever had while he was going to school there. And he was one of those individuals that had every right to have an ego, and he didn't. So that's telling you something. Because for some people, if you're one of the only handful of people to do something like that, yeah, you have every right to have an ego. But he saw it as both just not only doing his job, but he saw it as both a privilege and an honor. So my thing is this. If people want to keep saying that, oh, that was rigged and oh, that was staged. You tell that to someone like Neil Armstrong. You say something like that to Buzz Aldrin. You say something like that to a lot of other individuals who were part of those missions, who either saw pictures up close or were on the surface itself. Yeah, but I guarantee you, they don't have the balls to do it.
Look, we all love a great conspiracy, especially ones with some truth to it. This one just doesn't, never had really truth to it. But I agree overall, man. We should have absolutely kept that momentum. But that's what happens when your government specifically is motivated for all the wrong reasons. Because again, we was only motivated because of communism and the military-industrial complex and all this other nonsense. The moment it was clear we won the space race was the moment none of that shit mattered anymore.
And here's the funny thing. It goes back to a line I remember hearing in the movie. And people be surprised the things you can learn when you pay attention to what's said in particular movies. Tommy Lee Jones said this in the movie Under Siege. That's the problem. It was a movement. It went a certain distance, then it stopped. He's basically trying to tell, his character was trying to tell people, stop having movements. Start having revolutions because it keeps coming back. It goes forward and then it keeps coming back whenever you really realize it. That's the problem.
Cody's honest opinion, Tyrus, is the gods, aliens are just a more advanced or ancient race of humans. That is an interesting theory.
That sounds like Stargate, but I hear what he's saying.
Yeah, because I know there's the whole they got the zoo hypothesis, and then they got a lot of these theories about great filters and civilizations and stuff like that. And so there's always this idea of, okay, what if there's no aliens because we're the first that's actually going to do it? And that actually had me thinking that, again, that's human exceptionalism. However, a good theory would be there is some sort of universal characteristics amongst us, galaxy wise. You see what I mean? Certain galaxies, certain civilizations, or certain species or something, there might be similar traits amongst everything because we all got, we're all made of similar stardust within the galaxy.
Well,
And
made
so,
of similar matter.
yeah. And because it's crazy, man. You look at, and I know we're going all over the place. Yeah, but it's cool. I look at Venus and Mars, right? And I go, wow, these are two planets that are basically, we're supposed to be triplets. One is basically greenhouse gases ran out of control, which is Venus, and the other one looks like a nuclear wasteland.
That's Mars,
right? And so it's almost like Earth is the only one left, and this is like our last shot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's just a theory, just a crackpot theory. But I can see that, especially because, or I could see the idea that we're all kind of similar. Like either we could be the first, or whatever the civilizations that come up, like a self-awareness, have similar traits. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's a possibility. And this is why I'm a fan of sci-fi, because it's funny how they always find a way to connect it in some way, shape, or form. And I think the one series that makes a perfect connection of both science and religion would be Battlestar Galactica and Caprica. Now, people are thinking the original Battlestar Galactica. I'm talking about the updated versions, and I'm also talking about the series Caprica, which was the prequel to Battlestar Galactica.
Mm.
And the thing that people didn't realize, there were 12 planets in this one system. Each planet had its own name. Each planet was literally a name of a zodiac. You had one planet called Capricorn. You had a planet called Taurus, and so on and so forth. They were known as the 12 colonies.
Mm.
And they all found a way to coexist in some way, shape, or form. And then, of course, when the Cylons attacked and humanity had to flee the colonies and they basically went about the universe, there was a legend mentioned by the elders of a 13th colony, a lost colony, a colony that can be their new home, a colony that was the home of their ancestors, Earth.
Hmm.
Now, that may sound, say again?
No, that's dope. Like it'd be awesome to even be a remotely like that in real life, bro.
It would be. It would be, but it's one of those things that it's for the people that put that together. That's very creative.
Yeah.
It shows how you take science and religion and you got to find a way to make them intertwine in some way, shape, or form.
So another reason, and Cody's bringing it up about implies genetic and physical compatibility. One of the things that our scientists here on Earth that we know of are talking about, Anton, is the fact that we're actually stopped because we're learning more and more about the other species, specifically the other mammals.
Mm-hmm.
We really are having to stop saying, oh, they're human-like, and more, we're all animal-like. Because you look at birds that display similar emotions, right? Compatibility, maintain long-term relationships, they grieve, them kind of things. You look at how intelligent, self-aware whales are, especially like orcas, sperm whales, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly these aren't just human characteristics, but animal characteristics, right? And then I can't help but combine it with the recent news, Anton. Scientists, there was this block of ice they took out from Antarctica, had like this real ancient worm, 42,000 years. They defrosted it, Anton, and not only did it come back to life and become active, it's asexual and it started multiplying.
Oh, wow. Sounds like a triple.
After 42,000 years in stasis. And so I then combine that knowledge with the fact that we know that comets can either come from our exterior heliosphere, I believe it's called, or our outer belt, or sometimes they do come from interstellar space. And a lot of that, Anton, a lot of those comets have literal ice. Ice that theoretically, yes, we can scoop up, melt it, and drink it. And so that means what sort of single cell or complex organisms exist in those chunk of ice that literally gets transferred and knocked into different planets, including ours.
That's heavy.
It's, you know, and then you look at that too with, look, there is very few sea life that looks anything like land animals, bro. Very few. I mean, if none of us as human beings knew what an octopus or squid looked like, and then you showed us that and like some starfish and shit like that, what would we think that was? But if it's already traveling and what we know is liquid water on these comets, could that be the same complex organisms that eventually evolved in what we see in our oceans today?
That's possible. Because ironically, they've always talked about the very unique sea life in the oceans, especially you go to certain parts of the earth where it's very deep. And they say it's so deep and dark that evolution has slowed it down. Like, they're saying if you ever go to Pacific, you go to certain parts of the Pacific Ocean and you go to certain depths, you can actually see sharks the size of whales.
Yep.
That's saying something. But the thing that kills me is with all this curiosity that we have when it comes to space, when it comes to nature, when it comes to the earth, when it comes to the seas, when it comes to a lot of these things to maybe better everyone as a whole, why are we holding ourselves back?
Our species has a really big problem with that. We always like to undermine ourselves, Anton. Like, we really don't want to give our own species credit for doing amazing shit a few thousand years ago. Like, as if somehow those people didn't need to survive in order for us to survive today.
Exactly.
Like, bro, yes, they're smart enough to build the fucking pyramids. Yes, they smart enough to put Stonehenge together. Yes, they smart enough to do that, what we saw with the Aztecs and the Mayans and those pyramids over there. Yes, they're
And look at the
smart
similarities
enough
between
with the head. Say what?
look at the similarities. You got pyramids in Egypt, and you got pyramids in parts of Mexico and Central and South America.
God, that almost implies, Anton, as if we're similar species with universal characteristics. Right? Son, that can't be possible. You know, and it sucks, bro, because we're always underselling our achievements, and that's one big reason that drags us back from being more successful right now, Anton, in my opinion. You know, and so yeah, you know, it's the same thing with, I know that the scientists say that it's actually easier to develop and put things in space than it is to develop like the submarine crafts, especially speed related wise for underwater, you know, exploration and things like that. But we have the technology to, and we got the money to invest in it. We just don't want to. And so, Anton, I guess another big thing is if we go back to this idea that there are civilizations out there, maybe similar characteristics and things like that. You know how embarrassing it would be that our top people would not be able to answer fundamental questions about our planet because we didn't explore it like we should if we ever made first contact?
Exactly.
Holy fuck, bro.
And when you
We're trying to conquer the stars, and we ain't even conquered our planet.
Yeah, and it's funny when you watch episodes of Star Trek, especially like the early series, like Enterprise. You see why the Vulcans never had a problem with insulting humans, because we were our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
And we may look at that as a form of arrogance, but at times, when you think about it, they were just telling us the cold, hard truth. And we just didn't want to accept it because it was coming from someone that didn't look like us.
Yeah. We definitely got a lot of work ahead of us, just from the top down, bottom up.
Oh, definitely.
We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Anton, what's your final thoughts tonight, man? Thanks for rocking with me, bro.
No problems, as always. I look at AI is here, and the best thing I can say is it comes with a lot of responsibility. Use it that could benefit you, the individual. Use it as a way to help benefit others. Be mindful when you use it to hurt an individual or individuals, the trickle effect that it may cause. I read an article in USA Today about deepfakes. How some people, just to get back at an individual for the most mundane reasons, will find a way to take a picture of a person, generate an AI version of that person doing explicit things. And even though it's not really that person, they found a way to manipulate almost as if to look like it, the actual person themselves. And not realize how the individuals who will falsely put in these not only has damaged their reputation, but their credibility in so many ways, to where they feel like they can't redeem themselves no matter what. So I say use this technology to help you answer certain questions if you're doing things education related. Use it because you're curious about a few things, because you want to become a better variance of who you are. Use it as a way to help you answer questions if you want to understand certain things. But using it to try to hurt others, what people don't realize is at the end of the day, that can be used to hurt you. And people have to learn the importance and the significance of it, and they need to learn to take responsibility for how they use it. And even if it is already here, the best thing I can tell people is trust but verify, be aware of what it can do, and hopefully use it for the betterment of all, not the personal gratitude of self. And that's all I got to say. And those are words we're thinking about.
Hell yeah, bro. Appreciate it. Again, thanks for rocking with me, bro. You have a good night. Guys, demand for these AI data centers, regardless of the AI bubble, is going up currently. Adapt and evolve as reasonable as you can, as realistic as you can. Make sure you guys can, if it's possible, build yourself a computer, just to kind of flex a little bit. Tell y'all what my rig is. I got this LG ultra wide curved monitor. My rig, I got actual dual GP that I'm rocking with. One's the 7900 XTX Sapphire Nitro with 24 gig of VRAM. The other is the one I use for gaming is the 9070 XT Nitro. I use my 79 XTX for like, playing around with my AI generation, trying to create a little baby warlock and everything like that. I got 128 gigs of memory. I got, on my motherboard, I got 4 terabytes. So I'm rocking with 12 total terabytes of storage. And last year it was all cheap to get that stuff. I mean, yeah, it's an expensive rig, but now, guys, y'all see what they've done with AI, like the consumer market, the PC parts. It's they're trying to price people out. Like the same stick of RAM, guys, that I bought last year now costs literally 3 times what I paid. I could not build the same computer I have right now today. I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't afford. I want to be able to afford it. And let's be clear, as y'all can kind of hear, my system's already kind of bougie. But if you can get the parts together, get familiar with it, and just try to adapt and evolve and embrace it, because guys, it's coming whether we like it or not. Hell, AI is already here. All right. If you're in a position, I know this might be again for the minority, guys, try to get those solar panels up in your house. If you got the money for geothermal, try to get that. Try, make sure you got your gas lines hooked up. Try to diversify your energy needs at your residential home as much as you reasonably can. As y'all see with these tech bros, they don't give a shit about increasing our utility bills. They just don't. And no one's going to do anything about it. Right? So if we know our corporations who are doing this in the first place aren't going to do anything about it, if we know our government who has the ability to do something about it isn't going to do anything about it, and we know we aren't going to do anything about it, then adapt and evolve. Some of you guys have rigs right now that's capable of generating even a small LLM, even something to, again, just get yourself familiarized. That way you have the ability, not that it's guaranteed, but you have some sort of ability to always market yourself as above the AI model. So AI is always an assistant to you. You're not an assistant to the AI. And I really don't know, guys, what else we're supposed to do about it. I'm just a normie up here like you guys are, man. I'm just trying to put stuff out there. It just sucks, man. It just really sucks. It's inescapable because the same programs that AI is using is, again, tied to the same skill set we need to get the job in the first place. It's unavoidable. Shout out to you, Match. I see you up in here again, man. Match, I see you, dog. But again, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon, all of these different corporations are literally the ones who not only hire tens of millions of Americans, but also make us use the same system they're having AI replace us with. It's a shit show, bro. And unfortunately, it's needed as a skill set, because without it right now, because there is no safety net for losing your jobs to AI, you got to play the game to put food on the table, bro. It fucking sucks. But maybe, you know what I mean? More and more people talk about this. More and more people just try to experiment with it. More and more people make your voices heard. But guys, we gotta come up with some solutions of what we're gonna be doing here with AI, guys, because right now, uh, again, the way it's being used by our executive guys, we are not getting Skynet. That would actually be a privilege compared to the reality. So those are what I got for you guys. Thanks for rocking with me tonight, Anton, Cody, Match, all you other guys that came up in the chat. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Peace.